Hi friends, in this video I am going to discuss about Matthew Arnold and his works. Matthew Arnold was a great Victorian poet, critic and educationalist. He was born in Laleham, Surrey, England in 1822. He was educated at Rugby and Oxford. His father, Thomas Arnold, was a noted historian and educational reformer and headmaster. Matthew Arnold wrote his first volumes of poems in 1849. He taught classics for 2 years and later in 1851 he was appointed as an inspector of school, a position he held for 35 years. In 1857 he became the professor of poetry in Oxford. He acknowledged his master as a great French critic, Saint-Beuve. He was evoked on the death of his friend Dean Stanley, and thus he wrote an ode on Westminster Abbey. A Southern Night is a poem in which Arnold laments the death of his brother. Rugby Chapel is an elegiac poem in the memory of his father. According to Arnold, the age of expansion is followed an age of concentration. Arnold is called the prophet of modern society. Arnold believed that there should be seriousness in literature and poetry should be in grand style. The first volume of poems appeared in 1849 under the title Strayed Reveller and Other Poems, but was withdrawn from circulation because it could not draw public attention. The second volume of poets, Empedocles on Etna and Other Poems, which was published in 1852, it was also withdrawn because Arnold was not satisfied with its titles, but on the request of Robert Browning, it was republished in 1867. His tragedy Merope was published in 1858. After a gap of 9 years, new collection of poems was published in 1867 titled New Poems, of which Empedocles was a part. He published his lectures on translating Homer in 1861, followed by Last Words on translating Homer in 1862. He wrote the famous youthful sonnet Shakespeare in 1844 but published in 1849. In the memory of Wordsworth, he wrote, "The last poetic voice is dumb. We stand today by Wordsworth's tomb." It was written as memorial verses in 1850 after the death of Wordsworth. John Keble was the godfather of Arnold. Arnold died while catching a train at Liverpool. He had a heart failure on 15th April 1888 at the age of 65. Arnold's poem was included in Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. Arnold was influenced by German's Goethe and French Seneca. He developed the touchstone method. Now let's see the major works of Arnold. Dover Beach, which was published in 1867. Scholar Gypsy in 1853. Rugby Chapel, it's an elegy poem on the death of his father, which is published in 1867. Culture and Anarchy in 1869. It's an essay in political and social criticism. Thyrsis, it was published in 1867. It was written on the death of his friend Arthur Hugh Clough. On the study of Celtic literature in 1867. Essays in criticism in prose, first series in 1865 and second series in 1888. Sogreb and Rustum. Strayed Reveller and Other Poems, the first volume of poems in 1849. Empedocles on Etna and Other Poems, the second volume in 1852. Cromwell in 1843. He got prize at Oxford for this work. Alaric at Rome in 1840. He got Rugby Prize for this poem. A Southern Night to Marguerite continued in 1852. It was first published in Empedocles on Etna. In 1857 edition, the poem was published as a sequel to the poem Isolation to Marguerite. Next, Poems, a new edition in 1853. Poems, a second series in 1855. Merope, a tragedy in 1858. New Poems in 1867. preface to the poems in 1853. Next we see his prose works, England and the Italian Question in 1859, on translating Homer, 3 lectures given at Oxford in 1861, on the modern element in literature in 1869, Literature and Dogma, an essay towards a better apprehension of the Bible in 1873, the 100 greatest man, portraits of the 100 greatest men of history in 1879, on the study of Celtic literature in 1883, discourses in America, education department in 1886, and essays on Milton. Next we see his sonnet. He had written only one sonnet, which is Shakespeare, in 1849. If it is useful for you, you have to like, comment and share, and never forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.